is going on in this world? Like, it's one thing after the other. 15-year-old teen shot in chest, set on fire, raped, and still survives. Now, God is good for her still surviving, but let's see what's going on.
And welcome to The Factor Uncensored. 40-year-old Latoya Harris and her boyfriend, 41-year-old Terrence Washington, are both behind bars in Louisiana tonight. They're likely on a path straight to hell, and you will agree. This is after Harris's 15-year-old daughter was severely abused by the couple at their home in Terrebonne Parish, just outside of New Orleans. How bad was the abuse? Investigators say Washington shot the teen on two different occasions with a shotgun, one time in the chest. Police say he also raped her, and in order to cover that crime up, the teen's mother set her on fire, blaming her, and also never getting her a treatment for the gunshot wounds. The damage was so bad the teenager lost half of her face and one of her eyes. She remains hospitalized after all of this was uncovered during a car accident in Baytown, nearly 300 miles from their home in Thibodaux, Louisiana. And joining us on The Factor Uncensored tonight, we have with us Ashland Brothers.
This is a problem. Like, this is a serious problem that goes on way more than, like, it is mentioned. And this is probably one of the most extreme cases of this, but this happens every day. Like, the mom or the dad moving on, getting with somebody else, and then the person they're with is mistreating the child. You have to have no self-respect for yourself to be dating somebody like that, for them to be disrespecting your child, and then for you to allow that to happen. Like, where are your morals? Like, and this pisses me off because it's like, it be secret. It's like guilt or shame or something that you're projecting onto the child because that parent is not in their life. You have to understand, these children are innocent. When you lay down and had the baby, you should have thought about that. But, you know, the baby's here now. The child's here. So the best thing you can do is either give it up for adoptions or just love it unconditionally. Love the child unconditionally and take care of it the best way you can. You don't put shame and abuse and start abusing the kid. Like, this is like, what is going on in the world? Like, why? And then you're bringing a whole stranger that you're messing around with to put more abuse and shame onto that child. Like, what is going on in your head? Like,
who is a reporter from Fox 8 in New Orleans, WDUE-TV. Ashland, thank you for joining us. Such a tragic situation that we have here with this 15-year-old who is from Louisiana and, of course, got into an accident here. And that's why investigators found out that she was in distress and abused. But take us to the beginning. How did we get here?
Yeah, so, initially what police say is that this had been going on for months, right? The alleged abuse, the buried abuse, if you will, have been going on dating back to around February, what we call carnival season, when police say that there was distress within the household.
And
right?
Of course, we're talking about her mother and her mother's boyfriend.
Mm-hmm. Yes. So she lived in a home with them. And from what I've been told by relatives, she had moved in about a year and a half before these incidents. So she hadn't been living there for too long. But what we've been told by police is that that's when, things started to go awry.
So I wonder who she was living with before she decided to move in with her mom. And I wonder what the conversation was about that. Like, was she staying with her dad? Was she staying with her other relatives?
that's when police say that the boyfriend admitted to sexually abusing the girl for numerous accounts, right? And then at that point, police say that the mother then burned the girl, and the police say that this was something that she was doing as a sort of cover up for what had happened. Police also say that the mother blamed the 15-year-old for the incidents that had occurred. It wasn't until the shooting incident where police say that the boyfriend shot the 15-year-old on two different occasions that then they took off for Texas.
What?
That is incredible.
Like, how do you blame your child for what a whole grown man did to her? Like, and that happens a lot too. Like where the mom's boyfriend messes around with the daughter, and the mother believes that believes that the child is to blame. That's some serious sick, twisted mindset, and that you clearly have insecurity and secret animosity towards your daughter. But why would you even put her in that situation? And then for you to try to cover it up by burning her, and then you allow him to shoot her, like what? And then you thought you was gonna get away with that, like.
Incredible. So the mother burned the girl, according to police, in order to cover up her being sexually assaulted by her boyfriend, according to investigators, right?
That is, to my understanding, I would have to check back with that, but yes, that to my understanding, that's what police say.
Do we know who the 15-year-old was living with before she went back to the home with her mother and her mother's boyfriend? Who was she living with then?
That's what I want to know.
So here at my station, we've been very delicate with how we've been phrasing this, and we have spoken with the relatives who she was living with before. We have decided to call them relatives, very close family members. Yeah.
And they're the couple that you guys interviewed and said, you know, the communications was fine, and then it became few and far in between from calls to text messages, and then she just disappeared.
Yeah, and what
Wow.
these family members say is when they started cutting off communication, or rather when the teen stopped being as responsive, they say after revisiting with this teen once she was in the hospital, they say she was terrified, that she was scared, alleging that the two who are accused of these heinous crimes were sort of feeding her false information about what might happen if she were to come forward.
Wow.
Threatening her.
And so they left Louisiana and came to Texas in fear that he would be arrested for harming her. And then they got into an accident here in Texas in an area we call Baytown, just outside of Houston, where then investigators, CPS Child Protective Services, saw the girl and notified other family members and said, you know, you need to, and the hospital saying you need to prepare yourself. Just how bad was this child, Ashlyn? As far as
Wait, so they not only did all this to her, but then they took her with them and ran off to go to Texas. See, but that was God. That was the angels looking out, divine intervention when they got in that car accident. That was God. That was God's plan for them to get in that car accident, because he knew he was going to get her out of this situation.
the abuse and the injuries that she sustained, I believe she lost an eye, right, as well?
Yeah, so they had to remove an eye, so they're working to try and get a prosthetic for her. Several face injuries. From the pictures that I saw we didn't share on air just because they're that graphic. Half of her face is burned off.
Oh my
There's no
gosh.
skin. She police say that she had suffered a gunshot wound to her chest and to her face. So there's that as well. And then they say that the mother had refused to take the daughter to treatment at a hospital, but treated the burns. However, police say that they did not treat the gunshot wounds. So you can imagine
Wow.
what state she was in, having not received any sort of treatment for those.
And we're talking about a 15-year-old girl. That is a nightmare to go through that, to endure something like that at such a young age, and at the hands, allegedly, according to investigators, at the hands of your mother, and she allowed someone to abuse you. It's just mind blowing. Ashlyn Brothers from Fox 8 WPUE, great job in reporting this story. Such a tragedy. But thank you for sharing it with us. We need to make people aware that things like this still exist, where
Yep.
a mother could allegedly sacrifice their child for a boyfriend.
And that's exactly what happened. She sacrificed her daughter. Like, that is really sad. And God made sure that she is to survive, because she's gonna have a story to tell. I mean, this is tragic, but she's gonna have a story to tell that's gonna help other people and shed more light onto these things. Like I said, this is one of the most extreme cases of this, but this happens every single day on a smaller level with parents and their new partner abusing their kids, and those kids don't have a voice. Some of those kids are silenced, and they don't speak up, and they don't get the justice. But she's gonna be a light for those people. That is wild, y'all. Let me know what y'all think in the comments about this.